Hello everybody and welcome back to today's video. Today we're going to take a look at the House elections of 2022 to see what my predictions are according to the current states who have released their congressional maps. First of all, before we get started, please subscribe to my channel. I'm at 96 subscribers, almost at 100, so please subscribe to this channel. Watch the entire video, leave a comment, leave a like, to make sure the message spreads. And yes, so without further ado, let's get right into the video. Why are these states already filled in? This is basically the consensus of 2022, at least according to them. I will be filling out each individual state. Alabama, I don't think there's anything to talk about. Alaska, yeah, I'd say likely is pretty much a good characterization. Arizona, they have released their map. I think this is a pretty accurate motto, I guess, of the state of Arizona. I do think the 2nd district likely, the 1st district likely, I believe both of those districts likely according to this map. I think the 4th district Democratic incumbent will have a tougher race than people might expect, but otherwise I think this is a pretty solid prediction. I think that, yeah, that's probably what is going to happen. Arkansas, yes, there's not going to be competitive races in Arkansas. California, although I do want to leave California for later on. Colorado, there's a toss-up race in the 8th district that is currently open. If we look at the state of Colorado, it has a Republican lead of 3, which means I do believe the Republicans will end up winning it. It is an open seat. It is a good Republican environment, and therefore that is my prediction. Lauren Boebert probably wins by a likely margin. The 4th district, I think, will be pretty competitive, actually. I think it will only be a tilt margin for the Democrats, considering the environment. I think the environment will be about R+3, R+4 in a D+6 district. I think that's where you get the map to. In the state of Connecticut, Delaware is so representative, nothing to talk about there. Florida, I don't believe there's a map in Florida. Georgia, I think this is a relatively good representation. I think the 2nd district may be more competitive than people think, but I don't think it's going to be dropping under 5 percentage points. Again, the margins are in the description down below. I know there's some ads which are annoying, but whatever. I cannot deal with that. I cannot change that whatsoever. So Georgia, this is their map. I think that is pretty fair of a representation. If we look at the next state, the state of Hawaii, yeah, that's not going to change. Idaho, I think that's probably the map. Illinois, this map will be interesting in a lot of ways. I think the Republicans will get surprisingly more seats than people may think. First of all, I think they will get the 17th district. It is a gerrymandered district, but with the incumbent they're not running, that is when you know the story about it. The Democrats are not winning that seat. Cherry Bostells is not running for re-election. The other seats, you can see that I think some of the more interesting seats are the 13th, the 14th, and the 6th district. First of all, I'm going to give the 11th district. Oh, I'm sorry. That district is not going to go lean. It's going safe. Wait a minute. So I'm not sure which district I actually clicked wrong at. Okay, so 3rd is safe. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Lauren Underwood, I mean, he's not easy to unseat at this point. The 6th district, though, I do believe it will be closer due to the fact there are 2 Democratic incumbents in this district. There will be a pretty contested primary, and therefore the race will narrow down to 13th as well. I think it will be narrowing down. But in the end, the Democrats do have a slight advantage due to the fact, basically this is a D+7 seat, although it's an open seat the Republicans are probably going to do well in. The 1st district, yeah, I'm not going to change it. Iowa, I think, first of all, this is probably the first flip at this. Oh, there's a couple of flips now, but the 3rd district, my consensus is that's going to go to leading Republican. The other seats, I think they're rated pretty well. The 3rd district, I think, Cindy Jackson is probably not winning re-election. Kansas, there's no map. Kentucky, is there a map out of Kentucky? Yes, there is a map out of Kentucky, so I don't know why don't they let me access it. Louisiana, there's Maine. Maine, I think the Republicans and Jared Golden is not going to win re-election. It is a very Republican district, actually. First of all, the 1st district is not lean Republican, it's likely Republican. The incumbent there should survive in that district, and also, if we look at these 2 districts, I think they will also be competitive. In the end, Biden won the state by 30 points. However, these House incumbents, will face stronger challenges. Massachusetts, nothing there. Michigan, there's a couple of interesting races in Michigan. Michigan 10th is open. Haley Stevens probably wins in Michigan's 11th. Michigan's 10th, I'm inclined to hold it as likely Republican. The 3rd district, it does have a slight Democratic lean according to FiveThirtyEight, but again, there's a Republican incumbent, and therefore I believe this race will still go to the Republicans. As for the 7th district, I actually see it very slightly tilting towards the Republicans. The incumbent there, Elise Slotkin, is probably going to not win re-election. He's in a R+4 district. Again, it's in litigation, but yeah, it's probably going to be the map. Again, there's a couple of states that have their maps in litigation, but I think this may get struck down. I don't know, but I think at this point it's probably still going to be for the map here. The first, it does have a slight Democratic lane, so I do think they might strike it down, but it's highly unlikely. The 8th district, I still give it to the Democrats. I mean, the incumbent here did win by a relatively large margin. Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi. So, the next state I'm going to be talking about is Montana. And this is a very good characterization. Nebraska, I think Don Bacon has a more solid race than people expect. Nevada, I actually think all 3 of these races could indeed flip. I'm going to be taking a look at each one of them. In the state of Nevada, I think the 4th district is going to be a more solid for Democrats, but these 2 districts could very well both flip, and I'm actually going to rate them as all flips. The 3rd and the 3rd and the 1st as flips, and the 4th as a tilt Democratic seat. Just given the national environment, I do give 2 of these seats towards the Republicans. One of them is still tilted towards the Democrats. So that's indeed a much better map than for the Republicans than what they're currently given. New Jersey will be interesting. So if we look at the maps here, New Jersey. Also, it's in litigation. I don't know why so much states are in litigation, but yeah, that's Jeff Van Drew probably wins by a pretty large margin. Christy Smith, I think both of those races, safe Republican, no problem. I think the 5th and the 11th could get more competitive. Again, they have pretty strong incumbents, but I'd say the 5th district is a lead Democratic district. I don't think it's Andy Kim's probably not going to lose. Again, yeah, Tom Malinowski is probably very likely going to lose re-election at this point. So that's probably the map here. New Mexico, it's going to be quite interesting. Both of these, this is a dummy mander, so it could flip again. I'm still giving the 2nd towards the Republicans. If you look at the state of New Mexico, I believe, so yeah, the state of New Mexico is a dummy mander, so Yvette Herrell, in the end, I think will win. I think this might be surprising for a lot of people, but I do believe Teresa Lagarde Fernandez is also likely going to win. Not as likely as people will think to win as they might, because the 3rd district is more competitive than you might think, and therefore I'm going to give it as to Democrat. New York, North Carolina is a interesting one at that. Anyways, this map, if we look at the state of North Carolina, it says it's in litigation, though I don't think it's going to be struck down. Honestly, it's not that large of a gerrymander. Democrats are like, wow, that's the largest gerrymander I've ever seen. It's actually not that large of a gerrymander. They basically took one Democrat and drew her out. And the 2nd district, J.K. Barfield's not running for re-election. First of all, the 2nd district is probably going red because of him not running for re-election, and I believe there's also another seat they rate as likely as they shouldn't. Yeah, the 16th, I don't think it's going to be competitive with a Democratic incumbent. It's not going to be close, actually. In the state of North Dakota, wow, it's safe red. Democrats say, well, it should be safe red. Again, Ohio's map actually got struck down. Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Oregon. Oregon's interesting. People rate these districts as likely. It's not really likely at this point. I mean, yes, the Democrats there had relatively strong performances. That means that Kurt Shader does not have an extremely Democratic district whatsoever. I think it's going to be tilt D. Possibly even tilt R. The 6th district also tilt. The 4th, I'll leave it as likely at this point. Actually, I may be inclined to give the 6th district towards the Republicans because, again, the national environment. Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas. Texas is an interesting one. There will be some discussion around Texas. I think I mainly really agree with this map. I'd say this is a very solid projection here. I think the 15th will probably go as likely, but otherwise this is a very good prediction. Utah, Virginia. Virginia has 2 competitive House seats. This does allow the Democrats opportunity to probably at least gain one of these seats. I think Lori probably loses. She is in a R+6 district. How is she supposed to win in a R+6 district in a Republican wave election? That's probably the problem I'm going to give them, as I think they actually likely are at this point. She did not have a strong performance. She did not have a strong performance whatsoever. Abigail Spanberger, though, I don't think she's going to lose. Also, Jennifer Waxton, she is in a D+8 district. She is in a district that is 4 points redder. How is it supposed to give it safe? I just don't get it. I'm going to give it as likely. Could go down to lean at this point. But Abigail Spanberger, I mean, she was in an R+5 district. She won. So in a D+2 district is 7 points below. I do think the national environment will be like 7 points better. But honestly, there is the Virginia suburbs. So in the end, I'll still give her. I still think she's the only. She is an incumbent. I believe will win. Washington, West Virginia. Nothing really there. Wisconsin, and then Wyoming. Why is there still some, I think a few toss-up races? Oh yeah, California. I still haven't discussed California yet because there is just so much states, so much districts that are competitive in California. Let's start by, I'm going to finally talk about California, of course. California, again, I'm leaving the best at last. First of all, I'm going to go into Los Angeles, where there are two extreme, relatively competitive House seats, at least. Not real. Actually, Young Kim's district isn't that competitive. Yet, they're smart of giving Young Kim his seat. Michelle Steele is a D+5 district, but Young Kim is also not. Young Kim. Where do you find Young Kim? Okay, Michelle Steele. So Michelle Steele is actually in a 7 points more Democratic district, but given the national environment, I'll still say she wins re-election. Katie Potter, though, yeah, Katie Potter, where is Katie Potter's in a D+6 district? So he's in a D+6 district. Biden, I don't know, but I think Biden won it by 8 or 9. In that case, I actually think she might lose re-election. I think there's still 2 more toss-up seats, so let's go to full size. I could go to San Diego, but I don't think there's actually much to talk about in San Diego. Los Angeles, San Francisco, Bay Area. There are a couple of competitive seats. If you look at the redistricting here website, it is a great website. You should check it out, actually. Amy Barra, I don't know why they're... Okay, Amy Barra's not winning by a safe margin. Alright, she's winning by a likely margin. This district, Josh Harder, he's in a D+8 district. He was in a D+1 district, so that makes sense. He's in a district he's probably going to win in. A open seat, a D+7 seat. I think they're overly bullish on the Democrats. Honestly, I do believe this race will actually tighten to the point where Republicans flip it, because at this point, I still think the Republicans are more than likely going to win the seat due to the fact that it is an open seat. That is basically the most important element, alright? It is an open seat. If we look at other seats here, the 13th district, which district is the 13th district touching on? Alright, Jim Costa's probably winning. David G. Valadao. Yeah, that is a very competitive district. I'm giving it towards him because, he did win in 2020. So that's why I'm probably still inclined to give Valadao his seat. It's actually a lead margin. The 27th district is the final district I'm talking about. Mike Garcia, he is in a 3-point more Democratic district. By the end, he probably wins just due to the national environment. And that's probably the map I'm going to finish off with the Democrats and the Republicans. With the Republicans actually leading by 10 seats, considering that mostly the final states that have not completed their redistricting are in Republican states such as Kansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Ohio even, South Carolina, even Florida. I consider that as a Republican state. So considering all of that, I do think the Republicans are going to nephews are probably more than likely to win the House at this point. The only seat that, there's not much seats the Republicans are winning. I think there's not a single seat they rate as toss-up. I gave it to the Democrats. So it really tells you that the Democrats probably aren't not winning this race for the House of Representatives. They should focus on, they shouldn't even really say that they're going to win this race. I think they're more than likely going to lose the House and the Senate and lose the presidency in 2024. So thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And again, get me to 100 subscribers. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!